We're going to do an early.
Whoa, this is early.
Give me the headlines presented by Hyundai.
Whoa.
First time in podcast history. Actually, Pete said we might have done it before early like this, but I'm going to just say it's the first time because I don't remember that.
I don't think it's. I think you're correct. This is the first time.
So,
man,
you're listening.
A lot of pressure here right off the bat.
Watching
headlines.
history. Woo! Give me the headlines presented by Hyundai. So we go into the newsroom. We got 3 big games we're going to do in this segment. We'll start with the Packers defeating the Rams 36-28. Your headline is?
Well, it has to be something Hollywood related, you know,
Right.
movie that doesn't live up to the expectations. So box office bomb. That's where we're going with the first one. Yeah, and that, of course, it is talking about the Rams, you know, the star power they have and the duds they've been ever since they've acquired this star power.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, right?
It really
So
is.
They tweeted out, what was it, All In.
All in. That Teddy
was
KGB, right?
In the beginning of November.
We're
so if you're
all
watching,
in.
yeah, we're all
I
in.
bet it all. It's another movie. You
Yeah.
need to see this movie, okay?
Yeah, I haven't seen this one.
You haven't seen any movie. You've
Yeah.
seen nothing. Have you seen Bambi?
I'm sure I have.
Okay.
Scenes of it.
Have we seen
What was the movie yesterday we were talking? Get Out, Get Up, Get
Up? No,
Get
Get
Up?
Out.
Get Out.
Yes.
Right?
Get Out.
I was like, I don't know Get Out. And you're like, yeah, well, that's okay not to know. And then someone's like, no, it's not. That one, like, picture of the year.
Well,
and so even that, I
you
should
need to
have
see
known.
that. That's another
Okay.
good one. It really is.
Okay. But I
yes.
haven't seen it. But the Rams were all in.
They weren't Get Out. They were, yes, nor are they all in.
Well,
Teddy.
honestly, they might have to get out now. It's like what? We talked about this last night.
Yeah.
They've lost 3 in a row. I thought there was a chance they wouldn't lose 3 games all year. The way they looked early in the year, and we'll get to Green Bay because I think it's a really solid win for them.
No doubt.
But it's almost kind of more interesting, this collapse by the Rams, because
Yeah.
I don't think anyone saw this coming. Now, perhaps it's Matt Stafford being not healthy. He's not been on the injury report.
Right, but Florio, and I know there was reports yesterday, to your point, that he wasn't he's not 100%. He is
Right.
dealing with a few different things right now.
Like, how bad is this for the Rams right now?
Well, I mean, I'm going to say I'm a little concerned. All right,
Okay.
I mean, first off, hey, listen, it's hard to win a game when the other team has 10 yards and they have 10 points. You know, I mean, the game starts out by what we've seen with the Rams the last few games before the break, them kind of messing things up early and putting a team in a power position before you even get warmed up or get in the flow of the football game. You know, of course, it starts off with Rashawn Gary, again, the guy I'm going to say for the third time in 24 hours, the best defensive player on the Packers football team. He's been that all year long. He's been amazing. He gets the strip sack fumble. That's not Matthew Stafford's fault. Whitworth gets beaten on the left edge. Next drive, now I go into it's 4th and 1 on the 29-yard line. You know, so the Packers score a touchdown. They're up 7-0 on a 3-play, 6-yard drive. Now it's 4th and 1 on the 29-yard line. And again, I know it's aggressive. You're never wrong if you're aggressive this day and age in the NFL. Aggressive. The game just started, and our guys don't even have a sweat yet, but we're being aggressive. And they go for it on 4th and 1 on the 29-yard line. I don't know. I mean, I don't love that. I don't. I understand that the Rams and they, have a cockiness about them. But, okay, you missed that. Adrian Amos makes a great tackle. And, now you're down 10-0 on the road in Green Bay. It's hard to win when you're down 10 points, double digits in Green Bay in the Aaron Rodgers era or the Brett Favre era. So, I just look at it like, mistakes, lack of big plays. I mean, to sum it all up, Stafford is off his game. He's been off his game, even on completions the last 3-4 games.
Now, they did have a couple big plays.
They
in this one.
did,
Van
no
Jefferson,
doubt.
Odell Beckham got going, got in the end zone for the first time in a long time. So they did have a couple of those.
Yes.
But they had them in reverse, too. I think it's 3rd straight game for Matt Stafford with a pick 6.
Yeah, well, it's a lack of consistency, I think, on that side of the ball right now, and lack of consistency with him throwing the football, even in accuracy. There's still last 3 games a number of completions, Ahmed, to kind of your pointers, where it's like, hey, you used to be a big fan of his. I mean, you still are. He was your quarterback up at the Detroit Lions.
You want to check in to see if I'm still on the bandwagon.
I want to see if you want to still on the bandwagon.
I do. I still have the man crush on him. Now, the past few years in Detroit, every year, it's like at some point, it's like, his back.
You get a little
he's
tired.
Back, he's back. Something's up with his back or his ankle. He's been beat up in his career. He's played through most of the injuries, but it does seem like there are always going to be points in the season where he's not 100%. And who knows? Maybe he won't be 100% the rest of the year.
Yeah, maybe not. Either way, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the way he throws the football or anything like that, and that just has to get better. There's not enough consistency throughout every game like lately, ever since they went all in Teddy KGB. KGB style, and it's twofold too, because they look like they want to just be a passing football team. They don't look like they want to be the running team they were in the past. So if you're going to play that way, then yes, execution, you can't make mistakes. Yeah, you can't fumble the football. Of course, you can't throw pick sixes. But I think it's like both sides of the ball this conversation goes to. Yeah, I mean, it's great that we saw OBJ get going. That definitely was good. You talked about the Van Jefferson play. But I'm still disappointed with the defensive side of the ball as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, because this is how it's supposed to be for the Rams, right? It's supposed to be like, all right, even if we don't have the greatest offense, which they haven't had when they went to the Super Bowl without a great offense.
Exactly right.
Well, you don't need it. You got Aaron Donald, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Von Miller now, and they were mostly absent in this game.
That's what bothers me. That's what really does bother me more than anything, is the absence of star players. Like, you got all these guys, Hey, Aaron Donald, of course, is still a force and unbelievable. Is he the slam dunk best defensive player in football like he was the last 5 years in the league? No, he's not. He's not that guy anymore. He's still top 3 or 4, but I don't think he's the game wrecker he once was. Von Miller, not much so far in his debut with the Rams. I mean, it's 2 games, and, there's a few plays where I go, he got some pressure, and that looked good, but there's nothing like that stands out. So there's that. And then, my other concerns with the back end. Like, I think they matched up Jalen Ramsey a few times yesterday and Devontae Adams. But, yeah, the Rams defense has taken a step back from where it was last year underneath Brandon Staley. It has. They just give up too many big plays, or they just can't get off the field like we saw yesterday. That's where it was. It was just a lot of slow deaths. They lack size in the middle of their defense. And I feel like right now teams are getting into a lot of 3rd and 3s every drive. It's what the 49ers did to them. The Titans did that to them a little bit. And even the Packers yesterday, where it was always 3rd and manageable for the most part. And, and of course they converted, I think, the Packers, 2 4th down plays as well. So they're not playing good, and they need to find a little new formula on both sides of the ball to kind of jumpstart the engine here.
Yeah, and our Packers homies that are listening right now, like, come on. A lot of that was what the Packers did out there, and they continue to roll through their schedule, even despite a fractured toe or a COVID toe from Aaron Rodgers. He scampered for the first touchdown of the game. Running game was good. I mean, they're using A.J. Dillon. They're using Aaron Jones, some big plays with Devontae Adams. I mean, you talk about now finding weaknesses in a Rams team that we didn't think had weaknesses. Right now, the Packers have fewer of them.
No, they definitely do. At least they have a way of playing that they know fits them, and then they know how to execute that way of playing, like, precisely. Run game, first off, impressive by the O-line. They're banged up. They're not at 100%. They protected well for the most part of the day. I felt like as the Rams started the game off trying to get pressure with 4, it didn't seem like it got home. And as the game went on, they started to go, okay, I guess we got to bring 5. We're not getting there. So, way to go, Green Bay offensive line. Way to go, like, Matt LaFleur and Rodgers staying patient with the run once again. And then, to me, like, Rodgers has got the greatest feel maybe in the history of football of, like, how to see the big picture of the game. When I look at it that way. And, of course, I know Brady was amazing, but Brady also had people in his ear to help him that way. Peyton Manning was amazing that way too. But Peyton was a little bit more, no, I'm just going to attack. Rodgers is like, he plays it conservative until he feels like this is the moment. Now I got to put my toe on the edge a little bit, even if it does have COVID or it's broken.
Yeah.
And that's where I respect him, they are like a little New England-y right now, in my opinion. That's how I would say Green Bay plays football. Don't mess up. You don't score touchdowns. We execute. We stay on the field. We score a touchdown. Game seems even, but it's 7-3 us. You go down and kick a field goal. Feels even. It was a lot of work, but you got a field goal. Okay, it's 7-6. We go down on a 12-play, 75-yard drive, score a touchdown. Game seems even, but it's 14-6 us. That's, to me, the way they play. It's really effective. It really is, and you got to give them credit because they've seemed to have mastered it, really, for the most part.
Yeah, they've won, 13 games each of Matt LaFleur's 2 years. They're
I look at
9 wins right now. They're going to maybe get there again. Looks likely.
I mean, I would think so. Yes, you're right. But the way the defense is playing, I mean, we're going to get Jair Alexander back, I think, at some point here soon, right, Pete? So so that's going to be a big boost to their football team. The rookie Eric Stokes at the other corner position is phenomenal. And the biggest thing is Joe Barry. I mean, Joe Barry, the thing that stinks for Green Bay and company, he's doing so good that he's going to be in the head coaching conversation, period. I mean, he is. Green Bay's defense went from being pretty good the last few years to, wow, it's hard to get big plays and it's hard to score on them, and they don't ever seem to mess anything up on that side of the ball. And give him a lot of credit. Give Joe Barry a lot of credit.
And they made Sean McVay scream into his play sheet near the end of that game. He just opened his mouth, screamed right into the play sheet. You don't honestly, you don't see Sean McVay that frazzled.
Yeah, frustrated.
He was frustrated. Positive after the game, saying they're going to keep going. That he's not obviously giving up on anything at this point, but he's having a hard time figuring out. This is a streak that they haven't been in with this incarnation of the team.
No, I think that's the thing. It's different. In the years past, he's been able to go, well, okay, wait, I'll manage the game a little differently then. We'll just run it and bootlegs, and my defense is so good that I can kind of play it that way. And I'll find a few trick screens and reverses, and that'll just give us enough big plays. Well, they're not that running team this year, and I would like to see them get back to it a little bit. I really would. I think he's too good of a play caller off of the run game to totally avoid it. But the defense isn't playing as good as in year past, like you're talking about. So I think he feels like he's got to push the issue a little bit with his offense. But yeah, they got to do some reorganizing there. In L.A. with how they approach the offensive side of the ball, and I think they got to find some different ways to do some things on the defensive side of the ball to be a hair more creative as well.
Last thing on the Rams here, are they falling into a little bit of the Buffalo Bills trap here? I mean, they have no Cam Akers. Offensive line, some question marks 100%. Here. It's like they know they have to run, but maybe they don't have the ability to do that.
Early
in
the year, I feel like they were staying patient with it. Then Darrell Henderson got a little banged up, and I think they were worried about his health, and I feel like from that point on, I want to say it was like week 3 or 4, where they kind of just said, okay, we don't know if we're going to be able to depend on the run game and Henderson being healthy and all that. We're a pass team. We got Matt Stafford. He's talented. Let's go from there. But then there's got to be something like we always talk about that, takes over for the run game. Then what's that going to be? You can expand the wide receiver screen game then. They got to do something there, again, to kind of, make you defend the whole field. But the Packers, phenomenal. That's all we can really say. Rodgers was on his game. I mean, really, I don't think he made one dicey decision the whole day yesterday. And when he needed to make a big play, whether it was to Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, in some moments where the game kind of got even, you always felt like, okay, can L.A. make a stop here and get this game close? And then it was, boom, big pass play to Randall Cobb. Oh, and next drive, okay, Rams are hanging in there. Can they make it close? Oh, boom, big pass play to Devontae Adams. They go down and score again. You just never got the feel that the Rams really had control of the momentum of the football game, in my opinion.
Green Bay Packers are maybe who we thought they were. They were rolling.
They're better than I thought they were.
They are better. They are better.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl last year. They were the best.
They were the best.
And in their game, this might have been one of their more impressive games. Down, came back and won. We haven't seen them do that a whole lot this year. They come back and beat the Colts. Good second half for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 38-31, the final score. Your headline for this game is?
Well, this is an Ahmed Fareed special right here.
This is on me.
This is you, because you did it last night, and I got to give you credit, and I like it, so go with it.
And I just went 4 net, the number 4, right? And I did that along with every other headline writer in America.
I don't
feel like it's that original.
I watched a few shows yesterday.
And they didn't do it?
I didn't see 4
Maybe because
it's next level. It's so obvious. It's like, I don't know.
It's too obvious. Let's not do it. They go, Ahmed has no shame. He will continue to do it. So 4 touchdowns for Leonard Fournette. Well, I think the coolest thing about this, too, and I know it's a lot of other things. This is a talented team. And Leonard Fournette is one piece that makes it go. But this was his day to shine.
Yeah.
And at halftime, he was in the locker room, according to a lot of his teammates, imploring the team to get going. They were down by, 10 at halftime to the Colts.
Right.
And he's like, we're a special team. We need to show it. And if you would have asked me, who's a leader on that team, who's a vocal leader, and I'm sure they have a lot of them.
Right.
I don't know that I would say that, a couple years ago that Leonard Fournette would be that for a Super Bowl contending team.
Right.
But I think that's cool. So his performance on the field, his performance off the field, because he looks like a pretty strong force when he gets going.
He does. I mean, he's a locomotive. And, I think that's the good thing about the Tampa team. They got a lot of, lightning rod personalities who love football, too. It's not just like me. It's I like me, but I like me winning with the team more. And I think that's what's kind of cool about them. And even, there's just a confidence about their football team. And listen, they were on the ropes as much as any team I saw yesterday. The game was 24-14. The Colts were outplaying them. They go into the half, right? The Colts scored a touchdown right before the half. Carson Wentz and company have the fourth down sprint right option. He throws a great throw in the front edge.
You didn't like that play.
Oh, I hate that play. I hate that play. Oh my God. Let's cut off the field and just give our quarterback basically one option to fit it into a tight window. And I understand, people will go, well, it worked, and I want to go, yeah, but I can show you 6 other times it didn't work yesterday.
Well, like the previous play.
Or
they
the previous play, it did not work,
yeah.
And he could have thrown an interception. Right. So I'm just not a big fan of that play. I'm not. I'm never a fan of that play on fourth and gotta have it, or the fullback dive up the middle. Let's give it to the guy who never gets it on the biggest play of the game. Yeah. Okay, and he's 2 feet from the line of scrimmage, and he can't get any momentum, and he just falls in a pile. That, to me, is the second dumbest fourth and short call. But either way, the Colts, had them on the ropes. 24-14. Come out the second drive, executing, going down the field, and this is where the Buccaneers are dangerous. This is where, you can out-execute them and really, outplay them to a degree, but their Jimmies and their Joes overcome your X's and your O's. That's where they're just – and Shaquille Barrett makes a strip sack fumble on Carson Wentz, and they're in field goal range on 1st and 10, I think around the 20-yard line, going in. Game was never the same. From that point on, the Buccaneers kind of took over, had the momentum. Not that I want to sit here and tell you that I thought they were going to win 100%, but I don't know. You were watching, and I feel like when they made it 24-21, and now the next drive, Carson Wentz throws the interception on the post route to Michael Pittman Jr. Winfield makes that great play.
Great play.
I think we all in the room were like, well, the Bucs are going to win.
Yeah.
That to me, they have that about them. It's like once they get rolling, watch the out. You're not going to stop them.
Colts muffed a punt. Then after that,
yes,
short field for Tampa. So now that we're kind of going through it,
yeah.
Did Indy just throw this game away?
Well, a little bit. They outplayed. They were the better team on the field yesterday. Yeah. They did, but they just did not take advantage of their opportunities. Now, this is a Colts thing, though. We've seen this. We saw it in the Titans game a few weeks ago. We saw a Ravens game on Monday night where they kind of dominated and lost in overtime. So, yeah, they are one of those teams that's got to find a way in some of these key moments, like when you got a team down or you got your foot on their throat. You got to press a little harder and cut off the oxygen so they die.
Let's put a button on that running back comparison.
That wasn't a button right there.
What did you say?
You got to put your foot on their throat a little harder and cut off the oxygen so they die.
We need to be more graphic. Yeah. We're not too. Christmas is coming up. All the graphic innuendos. So Leonard Fournette and Jonathan Taylor. Here's the graphic on. Jonathan Taylor, of course, had that huge day the week before. Really got most of these 83 yards on one drive. It was his touchdown drive where he punched it in with a 4-yard touchdown.
Yes.
Per Next Gen Stats, Taylor faced 8 or more in the box 50% of his runs.
Right.
So the Buccaneers were trying to stop Jonathan Taylor, so that could explain part of it. Fournette did not face that on any of his 17 carries and 100 yards. But Frank Reich is getting a lot of pushback from Colts fans out there. You saw the one fan in the stands that had the hat that said run the damn ball.
Right.
I was like, what do you have that made up at halftime?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's a thing, because it's a thing. Listen, this is...
So they were mad that, they wanted to
take credit for that. I feel like I was saying this 5 weeks ago a little bit. But yes.
So previously, they had a case.
Yeah.
Did they have a case in this game? They should have ran it more?
They took the right approach. They took the right approach yesterday. They weren't going to be able to run the ball with success. And right now, the weakness of the Buccaneers is their pass defense, their secondary. They move the ball pretty much at will on the Bucs throughout the day as far as in the pass game. I know the Bucs made a few plays here and there, certainly, but never where you felt like they were smothered, even on the interception to the post route to Michael Pittman Jr. It's one-on-one. It's a 6'3" wide receiver against a 5'10" safety. You take that shot. That's not like, that's defensive dominance. They've smothered their offense, right? It's not. It's just another Jimmy and the Joe overcoming the X's and the O, the good play call and design. And that's what's scary about the Bucs. But, yeah, I do look at it a little bit more as the Colts outplayed them, and I don't want to say blew the game, but just didn't take their advantages to kind of really put the Bucs in a tough spot to go, whoa, can you really come back from 31-14 on the road halfway through the third quarter?
Right.
They had a chance to do that. They didn't. And, the Bucs, so I have no problem with them not running the ball, the Colts. That's the first thing. Yeah. The run game stats are a little misleading on both sides. They really are. Even Fournette, I know he had the 4 touchdowns, 100 yards. He had 47 of them in the last drive of the game, too, where they got, the Colts a little bit in, hey, they're worried about letting up the big pass play and losing the game that way, and they gashed them. So that jump, if they can stay a little more patient with the run and continue to, not more patient, but just do what they do there, it's going to open up their big pass plays. And the other thing that, to me, just makes a difference over the last 2 weeks, and I think we all see it, is Rob Gronkowski. Yes. Rob Gronkowski, when you add him to Godwin and Evans, and now you got Miller back, Scotty Miller, who got a big pass interference call that helped him go down and get a touchdown in the third quarter. They just become very tough to defend everything that they have to offer. And then when they run the ball a little bit, then it's, oh, no, linebackers get sucked up. There's Gronkowski running down the seam for a 30-yard gain, and that's when the Bucs are really tough to beat.
Yeah, Rob Gronkowski, 123 yards. For the 32-year-old who was sucking oxygen on the sideline.
He was
you're
right?
not that old. I was like, come on, Gronk. You're not that. Although you are big, lumbering around, but he was sucking a lot of oxygen. So, yeah, I mean, that makes Tampa even more dangerous. You got a running game that's clicking. You got Rob Gronkowski. A lot of things rolling for Tampa Bay.
If they can get, Sean Murphy Bunting, who's just coming back, he's just been back. He's not playing his best yet. I know Jamel Dean got hurt yesterday, and I don't think he came back. And I think Carlton Davis is about to come back here sometime. I think he started practicing last week. When they get them back, I think you're going to see teams be smothered a little bit more to the way we were talking on the defensive side of the ball, where it could be scary against that Bucs D.
A team that we thought was going to have a smothering defense this year, and I think has for the most part. The San Francisco 49ers get a win between two 5-5 teams. Talk about a crucial game for a couple of bubble playoff teams. It was the winner of this game was going to be in a good spot. The loser's going to have more work to do. 49ers are the winner, 34-26 over Minnesota. Your headline for this one is?
Not your average Debo, which is also gives you a lot. I got to give you a lot of credit there too.
Yeah.
Because anytime we've had the Bengals, we have our running joke of not your average Joe.
Yeah.
Anytime we have,
we used it on our Peacock show for my first time on that show.
Yes,
and
right.
I was like, I'm not going to let this show go by without saying.
Well, Debo's such a common name, so not your average Debo. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's very uncommon on the field, and he was part of a 49ers rushing attack that continues to get better and better and better here 3 weeks in a row. It's insane when you look at the numbers here. It's been season highs for the 49ers rushing attack, back-to-back games. They were over 200 in this one. You see 208 on 39 carries. I mean, Kyle is just like, he's like, this is what we're going to do. It was like he was on the hot seat. A lot of 49er fans being like, what happened to Kyle, the genius play caller?
Right.
And now he's saying, screw you, we're going to do what we do best. And they're running over anyone.
They're running. Better watch out. Watch out. I look at the standings in the NFC right now, and I look at the top 6 teams, and, let me just pull them up real quick. I know I said this to you last night, so this is no groundbreaking thing. Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Dallas, the Rams, San Francisco, in my opinion, can all win the Super Bowl in the NFC. You got 6 teams that legitimately, to me, I have very limited questions about. In fact, out of those 6 teams right now, I think I'd maybe question the Rams and Dallas's defense more than anything out of everything there. But you better watch out for the San Francisco 49ers because they got it rolling. You said it. Their defense maybe not like dominant 2019 Super Bowl defense, but still really good. We're seeing them make plays on that side of the ball. And the Shanahan magic it's watch out. I mean, the Fighting Shanahans are back as far as the creativity in the run game. It really started about 5 weeks ago against the Bears on the road where we started to see it get going. They lost the next week to Arizona because they got down a little early and they had to abandon the run a little bit. It was a weird game. But after that, it's been domination on the run game. And again, I think Shanahan, yes, the way he's using Deebo Samuel is really special. We talked about Kittle being healthy, and then to me, here's really the big story: is Ayuk has become like a legitimate playmaker. Wait, we got to have a little plan for this guy, because if we let him just catch the ball 20 yards in the middle of the field, it's going to be a 40-yard gain. He has really upped his game the last few weeks with catches, yards after the catch, some reverses and speed sweeps himself. And to me, Shanahan's got a little formula right now that's going to be very tough to defend.
It was almost like he was in a doghouse, Ayuk, there in the beginning of the year.
I think he was. I think there was some stuff in training camp. I think he didn't. I don't know what it was, but I know there was talk of it just wasn't going the way they wanted.
Yeah.
And he probably wasn't performing as well, probably messed up some mental and physical things. And with a guy like Shanahan, not to say he's Belichick, but if he doesn't trust you and you're not in the trust tree, he's going to make you earn that back before he just throws you back out there again.
He trusts Debo. He's the third player in NFL history with 1,000 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns, and 5 rush touchdowns in the same season. You got Marshall Faulk did it in 99, Roger Craig in 1985. A hybrid player, just as much running back as he is wide receiver.
So wait, this is what they do to you, too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
when inspiration comes, go
the X's and O's to me are a little special here, because of course he's a wide receiver and he's an elite receiver, right?
Yes.
So you got him and Ayuk on the field, and you think, wait, okay, it's and then Kittle's on the field, and they have Wilson at tailback, and they might have Juszczyk at fullback, and you go, oh, okay, they're gonna get in some normal formations here and throw the ball. It's gonna be 21 personnel. But what happens is it becomes, let me see if I can figure this out. It becomes 31 personnel.
Yeah.
It does. That's what happens, because now they put Debo at tailback. They have Jeff Wilson, on the edge as like an H-back who's kind of playing fullback along with Juszczyk. And, of course, you got Kittle as the one tight end. So now you're, wait, we got in like a base defense, but now they're kind of like in a heavy run set personnel offense, and they can block us here. And on top of that, even with their 21 or their 31 personnel we're talking about, it's a very fast 21 personnel. I mean, it's real speed all across the field, to where teams don't really want to play base defense against the 49ers. They want to play nickel, because they're like, man, there's a little too much speed in these big sets, and he really compromises you there. And to me, that's where he's giving them the schematical advantage. My bad for talking.
No, that's good. A couple questions from the homies on the 49ers on Elijah Mitchell here.
Yeah.
Aladdin Bust You says, what's up, homies? Can we talk about Elijah Mitchell for just a second here? We can do it for more than a second.
Yeah.
Just 15 yards behind Najee Harris for the most rush yards by a rookie, despite playing 3 fewer games. So, Elijah Mitchell, 6th-round pick out of Louisiana.
We talked, Louisiana. We talked about
Tech,
him a little.
That's Louisiana Tech.
No, it's not. Louisiana's a different school. It's just UL.
UL, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
like
La Tech, and
it's like La Tech, LSU. Like, no, neither of those. We're going Sun Belt. Louisiana.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going under the radar, kind of like the same reason maybe people aren't giving Mac Jones the credit, because perfect situation. You got the Patriots offense around you.
Right.
I feel like people are saying that about Elijah Mitchell. Perfect situation, which it is. Kyle Shanahan run scheme. But is a lot of it him too?
Well, he's taking advantage of what's there. That's the one thing. Like, the one thing I like about him is, yes, he's get you a little more than what's there.
Yeah.
But he's got very good vision. And he's got a vision and a power and explosiveness combination, like an explosiveness to where it's not going to be 60-yard touchdowns, but pretty good acceleration through the line, to where a lot of good, impressive 10 and 15 yards, where he's just like, whoa, that was a blur going through the line. And, he's big and strong enough, too, to get tough yards. Oh, wait, there's a linebacker. He can run through the arm tackle or take him on shoulder to shoulder and still drive the pile forward. So he does deserve a lot of credit. Am I going to sit here and tell you I think he's Najee Harris? No. He's not Najee Harris. He's not. I'm not going to say he's as talented as him, but he's very good. And then you add that to like what you talk about. A genius in the run game, one of the better offensive lines in football, and like a coach who knows how to tie plays together to where you don't know, wait, is this the run? Is this the play action pass? Is this the fake the run, fake the play action pass screenplay? You don't know what the coming from Shanahan right now, and he will you over in a hurry. And that's how I'll end that segment right there.
Yeah, I think when he was out, they did struggle to run the ball a little bit more. And,
they did.
And clearly, Shanahan likes him better.
It all
than
came
Trey
back
Sermon.
at the same time. Kittle got healthy then.
Yes,
Trent Wilson came back, and Trent Williams got healthy.
Yes.
Ayuk wasn't popping yet.
Yeah.
To me, it's really like, to your point, yes, they were struggling without him, but like the stars aligned for the whole offense to kind of get them going again.
One more thing on the 49ers here. And I feel bad we haven't talked about the Vikings that much.
That's
but Jimmy
all right.
Garoppolo, we got a question on him. Derek Weatherford said, did the 49ers struggle earlier in the season because Kyle thought Jimmy had taken the next step and put a lot more of the offense on his shoulders?
I don't. It's a good question. They just, I would say early in the year, they played some good defenses. They just seemed to not be able to find their rhythm running the football. I don't know if it was necessarily that. I don't. I think it was more, the injuries on the offensive side of the ball.
Same type of thing.
And that type of issue there where, yes, we just saw not the dominant run game, which then had to put a little bit more on Jimmy Garoppolo's plate. And not that he did bad, really. I mean, he played great in a Green Bay loss on a Sunday night game. The Seattle Seahawks game, they lose the next week, but he got hurt in that football game. So, he went through a little spot of battling through injury and not being 100% himself. But, man, the 49ers, the D, the run game, Garoppolo has been good. I mean, he's been very consistent. You talk about the tight end and the two receivers. I mean, that's why I just say watch out. And Minnesota, again, I give them a lot of respect. I do. I never felt like yesterday watching that game that they were in the same class as the 49ers. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful that way.
Which is not if you think the 49ers are a potential Super Bowl winning team.
I felt like the 49ers were this close to blowing the game out about 3 different times. Of course, Garoppolo threw a bad interception early that gave him the Vikings a short field touchdown. Then really after that, the Vikings only put 2 drives together the rest of the game. We have the kickoff return. But that's what the Vikings are a little bit. They kind of like disappear for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like Justin Jefferson 40 yards, Dalvin Cook 20 yards, Adam Thielen 25-yard touchdown, 3-play 85-yard drive. We're back.
Right.
And to me, it's hard to play and win consistently week in, week out when you're that type of offense.
And the 49ers, the opposite. They had a 15-play, 85-yard drive in this game. Had, a 20-play drive last
field
week.
Goal against the Jaguars, right.
Got to keep our eye on Debo. He went out with a groin injury.
Oh, that'll
did
be
not
huge
come back in, although he was in the sidelines, did seem to be in a good mood, I'm going to be perceptive and look at the personality of a player. Dalvin Cook left the game. He did not seem to be in a good mood. Shoulder dislocation. We'll see if any damage was done with that. And so they would lose definitely one of the top running backs. Madison can carry
play
some of the load, but that would be a big blow for either team, obviously. And that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. For the first time ever at the top of the show.
Boom.
I'm going to say that. I think it's a lie, but we're just going to go with
it. It's real
at this point.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.